Hello YouTube, welcome to Curious Me channel. This is Shabazz Khan, and in this video we will have a quick walkthrough of ASP.NET Core Essential Files. Now this is a continuation of previous video in which we set up the .NET Core application and created a very quick template, and we'll go through that template today. So if you want the link to the previous video, it is in the description down below and also here. So let's just dive into this. Before that, let me quickly show you the list of commands that are available for .NET Core CLI. So for that, you just open the terminal, type .NET --help. So this will give you the list of commands that are available for .NET Core CLI. So here you can see these are the SDK options. We just use this help. All right, you can use the version to check out the version, and some SDK commands like add, build, publish, remove, restore. So we'll be using quite a lot of these commands as well, and we might rarely use these, but anyways, this is just to show you the list of commands and how you can see those commands and just go through them. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's just quickly start with our file exploration. As you can see, this is the template which we got when we ran the .NET new MVC command in the previous video, and so we got this template. Now in this video, basically what we'll go through some of the essential files in .NET Core. So what are these? Let me just quickly go through the files one by one, and then we'll explore those files. So first of all, let me show you let me tell you the names. So this program.cs file, startup.cs file, app settings.json, app settings.development.json, and launch settings.json. So these are the fundamental files that are needed by .NET Core to basically start the execution or start the application. Okay, or in terms of .NET Core, to set up a host. All right, now let's go ahead and start exploring the file one by one. Let's open this program.cs file. Here you will see that there are two methods. The first method, that is the main method, is the entry point of this application. And people with .NET Framework background may think, hey, main method is usually used in console application. Well, you are correct, because .NET Core, when it starts, that is in runtime, it starts as a console application before being configured as a web application. So that is why this is the entry point of this application. Now if you move further, we'll see that there is create host builder, right? So basically it builds the host, as the name suggests. So whatever you have configured, okay, is known as host in .NET Core. So your web application is nothing but a host object with all the configurations and the services that you have written in various formats. Once the host builder is configured, your all your configurations are read and is stretched out. Then this build method instantiates that host, which was earlier just a blueprint. So here you build your host, and here you actually initialize your host. And once that host is initialized, you run this command, which basically starts running your host with all the configuration, right? So this is a basic explanation of this line. Now let's explore what's inside this create host builder. You can see this is the method, that is the create host builder, and it does two very important things. The first one is create default builder, and the second one is configure web host defaults. We'll discuss these two methods, starting with this create default builder. So this create default builder has many responsibilities, out of which let us discuss a few. So here you can see the list. It says that it sets content root path using get current directory. So when we build this entire thing, it sets the path for the host, the main path of the host, right? And then it picks up variables prefixed with .NET underscore. So just a quick overview. If you go to this launch settings.json file, here you can see under environment variables, you will see that there is something prefixed with ASP.NET core underscore. Similarly, if something is prefixed with .NET underscore something, okay, this will be picked up by this create default builder function and will be set as an environment variable. Now Another function of this method, create host default builder, is to load configurations from app settings.json and app settings.development.json. Now, this is not specifically to so this is the default behavior, like it loads from development.json, and basically not exactly from development. It okay, let me show it to you. So here you can see the ASP environment currently is set to development, right? If I do it to production, and if you have a file named ASP settings.production.json, that file will be picked up instead of this app settings.development.json. Hope this makes sense. This is just a quick overview, guys. We'll cover this in upcoming tutorials. So this is just a quick overview. Do not get caught up or do not get confused. Okay, let's move on. And it adds logging providers, right? When you run your application, you see a few logs. Let me quickly show it to you. Let me just revert all the changes from here. Okay, once this is done, let me just show you. Let us just run this. So when you click .NET Run, once this application is set up, here you can see these logs. These logs are configured by this create default host builder. I hope I'm clear. Just do not get caught up. This is just a quick tutorial. Just understand this and move on. Now let us quickly move to this configure web host defaults. So this configure web host defaults, it has a lot of functionalities, but we'll just list two of the most important ones. Here you can see in the list, it loads variable prefixed with ASP.NET Core underscore. So it picks up variables prefixed with ASP Core underscore. Let's move on. It sets up Kestrel server. This is one of the most important tasks of this configure web host defaults. Now, what is Kestrel server? So Kestrel is a cross-platform web server for ASP.NET Core, and it is included by default in ASP.NET templates by virtue of this method, configure web host builder. Okay, and Kestrel can also be used as a standalone as well as behind a reverse proxy like IIS, Nginx, or Apache. Now, Kestrel as a standalone has some limited functionalities, so it is always preferable to use it behind a reverse proxy, which is I personally choose. So basically for my setup, I use Kestrel with Nginx. Now let me just quickly show you a reverse proxy configuration. So here in this image, you can see that this is a very simple reverse proxy that I have shown via this diagram. So here you can see this is the reverse proxy, which is yourapi.com, and this is a reverse proxy, and this is your server where your ASP.NET Core is hosted. So this is your API, yourapi.com, and this is basically a .NET Core application. And here you can see inside the application you have your Kestrel and your application code. And what happens is when you make a request to www.yourapi.com via HTTP, this reverse proxy takes in the request and then sends it to ASP.NET Core application, and Kestrel receives this as an HTTP, redirects it to appropriate services in your application code, gets the response, sends it to reverse proxy, and then you get the response. Now, performance wise, it is kind of slow. Slower than in process. And what is in process? Well, in process is when you host this reverse proxy and this Kestrel, it is inside this, they both are inside IIS itself. Now we will discuss in process and out process in coming videos. So basically this is the configuration that is favored for that I personally choose for Kestrel configuration. So yeah, that's a basic Kestrel tutorial. Let's move on. So yeah, that Kestrel setup is also done by this configure web host defaults. Now it also does some configurations apart from Kestrel. What is this? This web builder uses your startup file to set up HTTP request pipelines and your services for dependency injection. So for that, it uses something called startup. And if you guessed it, yes, that is the startup file. So let's go and explore what is inside startup file. Okay, so right off the bat, you can see that there are two methods here. First one is configure And the second one is configure services, or vice versa, doesn't matter. Ordering is not important here. So this configure services, it basically configures the services which will be required by your application. So right now here you can see add controller services with views. In further videos you will see that we'll quite often use this method to register our dependencies for dependency injection. All right, now let's move on and let's see what's this configure. Basically this configure, it configures your HTTP pipeline. Okay, now anything that deals with HTTP pipeline should be written here. So here you can see that all the exception handling, routing related things, static file, and authorization and template route templates, they are all written here. Why? Because these all they deal with your HTTP pipeline, and these are called middlewares. Okay, and we will also discuss middleware in upcoming videos, because this video will get too long, so I'm separating these into different videos. So yeah, so these two are very important, and not only these two methods, but these two files, program.cs and startup.cs, these two files are also very important, and we will keep on coming back to this file throughout this tutorial. Now let's end this video here, and in upcoming video we will discuss regarding app settings and launch settings and in process and out process hosting. If you are confused about any of these things which I just explained here, you can write down in the comment box and I'll get back to you, and I try to get back to each and every comment. So yeah, and I'll host this entire thing in GitHub, and keep checking the description. Once I am done hosting this on GitHub, I mean not hosting, once pushing this entire code into GitHub, I'll upload the link. Yeah, with that, let's end this video, and please subscribe to this channel and give it a thumbs up if you learned something. Yep, have a great day ahead. Bye bye.